Hey everyone, the reason I'm making this video is that if y'all are familiar with some of my videos, especially my storytime videos, y'all know that I have some insane dreams. And, well, I've had another one. So instead of just telling you about the dream, I thought that I would actually write a short story based off of that dream. And yes, this is completely written by me. And anything in this story is not based off of anybody or any kind of events in particular. It is, just based off of my crazy, insane dream that I had. Unfortunately, I got stuck on the ending. I couldn't decide. There was two endings that I had come up with, and I just could not decide which one I liked better. Do I want the main character of my dream to be victorious at the end, or do I want them to not be victorious? Was basically the dilemma that I had. So I'm going to read both endings to y'all whenever we get to that point. And what I want y'all to do is comment down below. Which ending did y'all like the best? Ending 1 or ending 2? And I will pre-warn you whenever I'm getting to the endings and tell you which ending it is that I'm reading. But anyway, let's get started. It's been 2 years now, and I'm still haunted by the memories of the most evil man I ever met. But let's go back to the beginning. I was going through some emotional times in my life at this point and needed the help of a shrink. Yes, I know, that's not the proper term. But I was skeptical that anyone could help me. After a long search, I finally found a therapist. His name was Neil Smith. A rather generic name now that I think about it. I started seeing him once a week and really liked him. I started to trust him and really open up to him. By the 5th visit, he said he felt I was making excellent progress, but he wanted to try a more invasive treatment. I should have said no right then, but I trusted him. He explained that I would be staying at his house. This is also where his office was at, so I agreed. He asked for my apartment keys so my belongings could be brought to what I now call a house of horrors. The next day started fine. I woke to find bags of my clothing in my room. He brought breakfast up to me and told me to meet him in his office. When I walked in the office, there was a long gurney in the middle of the room with a huge metal box next to it. I was told to lie on the gurney. He then placed something on my head that I couldn't see. Then, all of a sudden, I felt thousands of volts of electricity go through my body. My heart hurt, my lungs, my whole body. Then everything went dark. I woke to find myself in my room. The doctor came in, and I demanded to know why he electrocuted me. He looked confused and said, "Miss, you arrived only yesterday. We start treatment today. You must be nervous and had a night terror. Come to my office after lunch, and we will discuss this night terror more." Then he walked out. I looked around the room, questioning my decision. I knew it was not a dream. I'm crazy, but not that crazy. But what if? What if it was a horrible dream? It's not like I never had dreams that felt real. I got myself together and went down the hall to his office. Hesitant about going in, I pushed the door open to find it perfectly normal. For the next few days, things went well. I talked as he listened. Then the 5th day came, or maybe the 6th. I was really not sure. I went in his office, and before I could even close the door, he grabbed me and forced me down on the gurney, strapping me in place. I started to cry. He leaned down and in a stern voice said, "Trust me." Not like he was asking me, but telling me. Then he blindfolded me. I felt cold steel slice through various parts of my body, face, arms, chest, legs. Not once did he make a sound. Again, I woke in my bed. Dr. Smith was sitting next to the bed. He looked at me and said, "Oh, thank God you're awake." I was so worried. He said, "Don't be upset, but you had an accident." I looked at my arms to see what seemed like thousands of stitches. I screamed, "How dare you? How could you do this to me?" He got on the bed holding and rocking me, saying, "Oh, honey, you don't remember a thing, do you? I found you in the kitchen with a knife cutting yourself. I had to sedate you and stitch you up. I believe you was sleepwalking while having a night terror." Later that day, I told Dr. Smith that I wanted to go back home. He said that he thinks, given what happened, I need to be under constant supervision. He reminded me that when I was 15, my whole family died in a fire, and I only survived because I was out past curfew. He was so cold in that moment, I started to cry. He walked over and handed me a tissue. He sat down and wrapped his arm around me, saying, "Sorry for being so harsh. I care very deeply for you. It pains me to see you hurt yourself. Come on, let's get you out of this house for a bit." He took me out back to the garden. It was beautiful, but isolated by woods for miles. He said, "Tomorrow I will move you to a room on the top floor of the house. Now don't let the barred doors and windows scare you. They are for your protection." All I could say was okay. For the next 2 years, I endured the same torture, electroshock, bloodletting, being convinced it's all in my head or I did it to myself, being locked in a room with just a small bed bolted to the floor. All my meals was brought to me, and he watched me eat. The only time I was out of the room, well, when not being tortured, was for bathroom time, which he watched my every move. Everything I needed was brought to me. I was in hell. Stuck in my head, I was a shell of my former self. By this time, 3 years, I think. I have been here with the same routine, only now Dr. Smith would visit my room and read to me, mostly love stories. He started to hug me and kiss me with every visit, saying, "I'm so happy you stayed. I love you so much." Okay, so now we're at ending number 1. And if y'all like this ending, please let me know down in the comments below. It's been 4 years now. Treatment is working well. The night terrors only happen about once a month. And I stopped cutting myself. I love Neil so much, and I'm so grateful to him. Okay, so as you can see, that's the ending where basically she just has Stockholm syndrome and is convinced that she's crazy and everything is all in her head, or she's physically harming herself, and that this guy loves her and wants to help her. Now, here's ending number 2. Today I was looking out my barred windows at what was once the vast woods, as Dr. Smith was reading another stupid love story. I never noticed the time pass. The vast forest was now a sea of cookie-cutter homes behind the garden. Something sparked in me. Other people are close. I walked over to the doctor and took his hand. He stopped reading and looked at me. I got nervous, but looked at him with a smile. "Can we go to the garden? It's been so long." He agreed. We got to the garden, and I pretended to take in the air and flowers. I was really looking for an escape route, a break in the fence, something. Luckily, he trusted me enough to walk freely around the garden, but not out of eye's view. I found the spot I could use, but not yet. It's too soon. Time passed, and I was starting to convince Dr. Smith that I would never leave, but needed freedom around the house. He stopped with the torture, or night terrors as he called them, but told me if I try to leave, the night terrors will come back. I can't let him ruin my plan. Every day I had him take me to the garden, trusting me more and more. Finally, one day he let me go on my own. I knew this was it. The time was now. I hopped over the fence and ran for what seemed like forever, knocking on every door. Finally, a person came. I told them to call the cops that I was kidnapped. When the cops came, I told them everything. They caught Dr. Smith trying to flee the country. When they investigated the house, they found the remains of an older male and 2 young females. The older male was the real Dr. Smith, and my captor, his patient. And the 2 females, Jane Doe's. So anyway, that's the end of the story. Let me know which ending you like better. Do you like her being victorious at the end and getting away from the person who kidnapped her or was holding her hostage? Or do you like the more darker ending where she basically just becomes subservient to him and it starts to suffer from Stockholm Syndrome and truly believes that everything that he's doing is for her best interest? Let me know down in the comments below if you liked this story that I wrote. I'm about to add again. Give this video a thumbs up. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel if you like watching these kind of videos and you would like to hear more. There's also some other stuff you can watch on there. And if you do subscribe, remember to hit that little bell because, you know, notifications, because that's the thing now. All right, well, thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all all have a good night, day, or whatever whenever y'all are watching this, and I hope you didn't get too scared or freaked out. Bye.